Good people. It's your boy Theo Dorsey, and let me tell you about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. Think Justin Jefferson will get more than 83.5 yards next week? How about Lamar Jackson? More than 1.5 touchdowns. Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code THEOD to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code THEOD and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Hurricane fans, the final game of the season is here. Join us on November 23rd at Hard Rock Stadium as the Hurricanes take on the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest. It's Senior Day, a day to honor the incredible players who have given their all to the U. Let's give them a send-off they'll never forget and fill the stadium with Hurricanes pride. Don't miss out. Get your tickets today by visiting MiamiHurricanes.com or by calling 1-800-GO-CANES.
Huddle up at Hurricane Grill and Wings, where every day is game day. Dig into fan-favorite dishes and new shareables, including carne asada loaded fries, honey hot wings, and boom boom sliders. Try our new cocktails like the spicy Guavarita and Red Bullerita, or enjoy bucket specials featuring Miller Lite, Modelo Especial, and High Noon during all pro and college football games. Grab your friends and family and swing by Hurricane Grill and Wings to see what everyone's cheering about. Visit hurricanewings.com to find a restaurant nearest you.
You've got so many chances to win big on Hard Rock Bet. Even a small bet can bring in that serious cash. All you need is $1 and a dream.
Unbelievable. They've hit the parlay.
Let's go!
Big payouts for every kind of player.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Get up to $100 back if your first bet doesn't win. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
This is the Delray Beach Open. Don't miss today's top professional tennis stars and legends in downtown Delray Beach. February 7th through 16th. It's 10 days of tennis on the Ave. 140 miles per hour races, parties, music, art, and all the good vibes. Come for the nonstop action on and off the court. Snap pics and post memories at the DBO. Join us for a jam-packed week of ATP tennis matches. More fun, more food, more drink, more parties, more of everything. DelrayBeachOpen.com for info.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
John Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station. Huddle up.
66 Hitchx Vegas Flair. I'm one ready.
It's time to break down the boldest plays.
Let's go, baby. Boom.
Hardest hits.
Woo!
And the craziest stories from around the NFL.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Fire the cannons.
This is Sunday Huddle with Colin Russo, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Good morning, everybody, on a Sunday morning right here, the 17th of November. Colin Russo here, joined alongside me, Kate Chumslin. It's Sunday Huddle, presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 1063. We're live from the City Place Studios right here in downtown West Palm Beach. Got an art show going on right outside the window here on Rosemary Avenue in downtown. So there's a whole lot of action, a whole lot of buzz going in downtown West Palm Beach. It's Sunday Huddle presented by Hard Rock Bet. Now, a packed Week 11 slate of football. Sunday football will take you right up to it. From 10 to 11, we got you right here on Sunday Huddle. Hard Rock Bet, now we're in the second half of this football season. You've seen how a lot of these teams are starting to turn out. You get a sense of the identities. There's no better time to get your first bet in on Hard Rock Bet. They have parlays for days. You could bet as little as $1. In Week 6, a bettor in South Florida bet $1 on a first touchdown score parlay. 5 different players to score the first touchdown in their game on that Sunday. Turned a $1 parlay into $40,000. Did it on Hard Rock Bet. So can you. There are so many different ways to bet and so many different types of parlays. Even if you're not sure what to bet, you can see popular trending parlays built by other users that you could follow and bet in just a few taps on the Discover page. The NBA is now back, and so is hoops betting, college basketball. So if you want to get on that end of things, if that's the type of betting that you prefer, you could get involved there as well. UFC 309 was last night, and John Jones beat Stipe Miocic. If you have interest in betting the fighting, you could do that as well. Bet your favorite teams and players, the league's biggest stars, and combine all your picks in a parlay up to 20 bets total. Try it now and get up to $100 back in bonus bets if that first bet does not win. That first bet can be a parlay. It can be a prop. It can be the over. Whatever you like to bet in a game you choose. You either win your first bet or get the same amount you bet back as a bonus bet. Try Hard Rock Bet today. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. Well, it's great. We got an excellent NFL slate today, of course, highlighted by Ravens, Steelers. You got Chiefs, Bills as well. So those two marquee matchup games are going to be very, very interesting. I'm curious to see what we're going to see from the Bears. Now that Shane Waldron is out as offensive coordinator and sort of the walls are crumbling in Chicago, and you don't really know if anybody's next, if who's next. Where does Caleb Williams stand? So, of course, Thomas Brown is stepping in as play caller who's the passing game coordinator. We'll see if we breathe any life into the Bears, because they got a divisional matchup now against the Green Bay Packers coming off a bye. Not going to be an easy walk in the park. The Bears have a really, really tough schedule, so that'll be an interesting game. Ravens, Steelers, of course, a lot of playoff implications there. You don't really know who's going to steal that division. Steelers are at home. If they want to stay in front in that AFC North, they still have to deal with the Ravens in Baltimore. This would be the game to win today against Baltimore. They're sitting at 7-2. Baltimore at 7-3. Russell Wilson has played well. Lamar, of course, we know how great he is, but it's that defense that has been the mostly the suspect side of things. So we'll see what happens there on that Ravens-Steeler game, 1 o'clock on CBS. The Broncos, 2-game skid. They were sitting at 5-3. People are murmuring about the playoffs, but now the Chargers have pulled ahead a little bit. They already beat them head-to-head. They had the Falcons today, a 6-4 Falcon team that is on a bit of an inconsistent skid as well, a bad loss last week to the Saints. There should be an interesting matchup there. The Seattle Seahawks sitting at 4-5 in that neck-and-neck NFC West. They got the Niners on the road there. Can the Niners sort of stay hot? They're starting to get healthier. They sweated out a little more than they probably should last week against Tampa Bay. But the Niners are sitting at 5-4, one of the better 5-4 near 500 teams and more dangerous ones in the league now that they're getting more healthy. Bengals, Chargers tonight. Of course, the Bengals are in a bit of do-or-die mode, sitting at 4-6. Chargers at 6-3. Haven't really beaten anybody of note. Beaten 5 teams. 5 of their 6 wins have been against teams that have 7 losses currently. So not necessarily the toughest strength of schedule in the world. Commanders played the Eagles over on Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime in Philadelphia. The Commanders, of course, coming in were one of the favorite type of new on-the-rise teams in the league. They were 7-3 going in. The Eagles, on the other hand, were 7-2. Commanders fell 26-18. Eagles moved to 8-2. Commanders fall to 7-4, excuse me. Commanders we'll get into that game a little later. Commanders are in a bit of a spot now where they're on a skid. You don't know if a rookie wall has hit or is coming for rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels. Are they starting to get figured out? Is that book out on them a little bit? Because it was a crucial 4th down conversion call with about 8-9 minutes left in the 4th quarter that I think deflated the entire team. After that, or within that, I should say, the Eagles 3 touchdown drives in a row. Take that one with moderate ease in that second half, 26-18. But the game I'm most intrigued in, Cade Chumsland, of course, behind the glass, joining us here at the City Place Studios, is this Ravens-Steeler game. And the only reason I say that, everybody knows that the Chiefs-Bills is a marquee matchup, but both those teams are going to win their division. Both those teams are going to get into the playoffs. I'm going to assume that the Ravens and the Steelers are both going to get into the playoffs, but winning that division is going to be a big deal in that AFC for home field, for making sure you get a home playoff game. And for the Steelers' sake, kind of getting out of their own way. They've been sitting around that 9-10 win team that hasn't really challenged anybody in the postseason. They've always been in the mix. They're always a tough out, but they're not necessarily a contender. And I still think, weirdly enough, 9 games played for them, that we don't really know if the Steelers are in that category yet. This is a good opportunity for them to prove it today against the Ravens.
You know, the Steelers haven't necessarily blown anybody out. They always seem to win these tight matchups, but a W is a W.
Which they love. They love that. Yeah, they love playing like that.
They love making it a game every time they step out onto the field, and we always keep seeing them in the playoffs. And shout out to Mike Tomlin for putting together one of the most brilliant ways to set up a roster preseason and then how to execute that during the season. The Steelers, like you said, they don't really seem like they've been dominating as a 7-2 team, but I genuinely thought the Commanders were going to beat them last week, and the Steelers pulled that one out too. So
on the road.
As much as I want to take the Ravens just off of how the Steelers seem to not really put up any of the high-flying offensive numbers like the Ravens.
They play Baltimore well, too. They play Lamar specifically well. But Lamar's playing the best football of his career, and they probably get the most dynamic offense that Baltimore's had in years. So there's that sense of it as well.
There's just all of these different components that you could play into this. There's TJ Watt, who honestly hasn't really been putting up the crazy sack numbers that he's been doing in the past. But
he's still a great player.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, there's the numbers don't necessarily say how hard-hitting this game is going to be. This is all about the culture of a Ravens-Steelers matchup. It's surprising that this honestly is a 1 o'clock game. I mean, this should be like the Sunday night football game that everyone should be watching right now. And I completely agree with you what you said earlier about how this is going to be huge long-term applications. I know they're going to play each other later in this season, but when you look at how the rest of the AFC is working, the divisional winners in the other 3 divisions are pretty much set in stone. Like you said, you got Chiefs and Bills, and I'm pretty sure the Texans will pull out the AFC South.
I would be surprised if they didn't.
So this is deciding who's going to have to face a team on the road in the playoffs, which could be a little bit of a setback. I think both of these teams do well on the road, so it's not necessarily like, oh, they have to be at home in order to succeed.
More importantly, they have excellent home field advantages.
They do.
They want that.
Yes.
Both that playing in Pittsburgh and playing in Baltimore is a severe advantage, especially in the postseason. They're not going to want to deal with a pesky road game that they're going to have to churn out and figure out a way to scratch and claw. They got 2 of the most experienced, if not the 2 most experienced coaches outside of Andy Reid in the National Football League going head-to-head like this. Tomlin has coached against Harbaugh. They've had not their number, but they play them well, and they play Lamar well. So from the Ravens side of things, they kind of need to get out of their own way with the Steelers. They need to get this Steeler. It's like a tick. Get this tick off me. Like let's remove this parasite that has impacted the way that we want to do things year by year in our division, because we dominate everybody. Nobody can seem to stay in front of us except for the Steelers. On the Steelers side of things, well, this is in a lot of ways the year. Now, you don't have an MVP level quarterback, but you have an extremely experienced Super Bowl winning quarterback. Everything's sort of clicking in the right direction right now for the Steelers. And this is a home divisional game on the preset of a really, really tough couple of games that the Steelers have ahead of them. And they need to win this game. Ravens, at Browns, at Bengals, Browns again. Then they got Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals. That is not an easy schedule. They need to stay. Like, if you want to fall and go 2-6 in your last 7-8 games, and then all of a sudden you're sitting there at 9-10 wins again, and the Steelers like doing that, fine. But if you want to take the next step, as a playoff contender, and be the team that teams dread going to play in their home building, go win this division. Go win this division. Don't just settle for a wild card team, which is what the Steelers have been at for a number of years now. Go take that next step, and you'll see today if they are interested in taking that next step.
You just talked about the Ravens getting the tick of the Steelers off of themselves. I think the Steelers also have that same mentality when it's get the monkey off of your back of just being a wild card team. That's all they've been viewed as. And that's what everyone keeps saying coming into the season, too. It's like, oh, they'll do well, but they're not really a contender. The Steelers have been living with that mantra ever since Ben Roethlisberger left, until they found their identity of a quarterback. And so far, Russell Wilson has been playing out of his mind, especially compared to when he was in Denver. So for the Steelers, this is going to be one of the biggest statement games they have played in probably the last 5 years, Colin.
Yeah, and of course, Pittsburgh went 2-0 against them last year, won twice. They've won 3 in a row against Baltimore. And Baltimore's only won 1 of their last 8 against.
Like you said,
Pittsburgh
Lamar
Steelers.
Jackson has just not stepped up to the plate.
So there's a couple different walls that either side is going to have to break through here to establish themselves. The Steelers is a formidable opponent in the top of the AFC. On the other side, Lamar kind of getting rid of that dark cloud that the Pittsburgh Steelers are above his head. Get rid of that. And they're playing in Pittsburgh. It's going to be an electric environment. It's a 1 o'clock game, but I think this is going to be a very, very interesting game. Who do you have in this one?
I will take the Steelers.
You think the Steelers are going to win?
I do think this defense has stepped up and surprised me, and we cannot overlook the atrocity of this Baltimore Ravens secondary. They can't guard anybody through the air. And Mike Williams was a big trade at the trade deadline for the Steelers. He had 1 target, 1 catch last week, and that happened to be the biggest catch of the game, a 32-yard touchdown to seal it for the Steelers. He'll get a lot more touches. I think this is a big game for Russell Wilson. I like the Steelers at home.
Now, the Ravens are coming off a long week here in which they gave up a ton of points, like you said, to the Cincinnati Bengals. That long week, will they benefit off of that? Going on the road here, I'm back and forth. I think Baltimore is going to win close. I think they're going to kind of get rid of that dark cloud a little bit. It's a dynamic offense. It's a better offense than Pittsburgh has seen from Baltimore, so I think that had something to do with it. But I would take Baltimore by a smidge. By a smidge, I could totally see the Steelers winning, but I could totally – this game, of course, like always, has 20-17 written all over it. So that's my anticipation in terms of what we're going to see.
That's interesting because considering the Ravens have had a little bit of a depleted defense and
I think it's
they
just
still have an offense.
Yes, I think points are going to be tough to come by.
I think this is going to be like 30-28. I think I agree with you. It's completely close, but I actually think it's going to be on the more of the scoring end.
Yeah, I think points are going to be tougher to come by today for some reason. But whether that be pass rush getting to Lamar on one end, and I think that long week they're going to be able to revamp that secondary a little bit. And I know they picked up a couple guys at the deadline. You get them acclimated. I think we know how good that rush defense is. So they're not going to be able to run the ball very well. And if Russell Wilson is going to want, with Mike Williams and Pickens, to put on a show on that end, I can't see this being an air raid type of game, especially with the great rush defense against. That's just the way I look at it. So I could see points being tough to come by, this being a field position battle for that first half. But I'll take the Ravens by a smidge. Now let's shift to an NFC North matchup that I'm interested in. Packers are at the Bears. Packers are coming off the bye. They're sitting at 6-3. Jordan Love was a little banged up in that Jacksonville game. Of course, they played Detroit at home in the rain. Detroit ended up winning that one fairly easily. The Bears, of course, have been the highlight of the league in terms of losing 3 straight. One of the ugliest turnarounds that you could possibly imagine after 3 pretty impressive wins, whether that be against the Panthers, Jaguars, 2 bad teams, but also against the Rams. Now they're at home, Soldier Field, and they enter a really tough stretch. And the Bears got rid of Shane Waldron, of course, their offensive coordinator. But here is what the Bears have to look forward to in the rest of their schedule. They start with home Packers, of course, today. They have home Vikings the week after that. Now, then they have the Lions, the opening game on the road on Thanksgiving. They have the Niners after that on the road. They have the Vikings after that on the road. They have the Lions again at home. Seattle at home. And they finish, like they always do, at Lambeau. That is a brutal schedule. That is an incredibly hard schedule, and they're playing all 6 of their divisional games within an 8-game stretch. That is brutal. They really either they're going to roll over and die and we're never going to hear from them again for the rest of the year, or they're going to show us a little something today, and it's going to have to start today against Packers. This is a very intriguing game.
It's a very intriguing game, and it's almost like we want to see a completely new team from the Bears.
But I don't know if I'll see that. I don't think we will.
I'll tell you what, we're not going to see it because this is just way more than a coaching issue for me. This is about a player mentality. You have to be able to protect your quarterback at some point. 9 sacks against the Patriots at home last week in their loss. We will always throw out that statistic of Matt Eberflus can't win a road Sunday game. He's like 0 for 18 at this point? Yeah, exactly. They lost at home last week to the New England Patriots and put up 3 points.
Yeah, terrible.
3 points. Now, I know Shane Waldron is gone now, but when your offensive line has completely given up on their quarterback and players are asking for that quarterback to be benched the same week that Shane Waldron is gone, there are way more issues in Chicago right now than just a little bit of a coaching mishap.
Completely agree.
Packers coming off a bye. This is screaming Green Bay all day, massive victory. I don't think we see it from Chicago.
So do you think we don't see any life from the Bears the rest of the year?
No, they will. This is a crumble and fall. It's not going to be like they score 3 points every week. I'm not saying that. Like they'll score 20.
You'll see some progression, but they're not going to be in the mix. They're not going to be in the mix.
You could see them lose all 8 games the rest of the year.
Interesting. I tend to agree. You had a good point about this is not just an offensive coordinator issue. This is a much larger fundamental problem that has to do with the whole basis of the organization, not just one play caller, because the Bears have never been in alignment. They never have the quarterback aligned with the head coach. They never have the quarterback aligned with the offensive coordinator. They never have the head coach aligned with the offensive coordinator. All of a sudden, you had Trubisky. Then you want to get rid of Trubisky, and then you want to get rid of John Fox, and then you want to get rid of Nagy, but then bring in another quarterback that's not his guy. Then you got to get rid of Nagy, but keep Fields, and then you got to bring in Eberflus, and then you got to get rid of Fields and keep Eberflus. They've never been in alignment. And this is just another example of that. I think Eberflus is probably a dead man walking in that position. They just don't want to belly up the whole organization with a rookie quarterback right there. But I tend to agree. I'm curious to see if we'll see any life from them. They have the talent. Are they going to show some guts here? Or the Bears going to be more of what the Bears are and just to kind of sit there in that crap storm until the end of the season? That's Kate Chums and Colin Russo here on Sunday Huddle, presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3. On the flip side of things, we'll do a little fantasy football factory presented by Hexus MD. Chiefs Bills. Talk about a dark cloud. We talked about 2 teams. The Ravens have a dark cloud of the Steelers. The Bears have a dark cloud of just themselves. The Bills have a dark cloud of the Kansas City Chiefs. Can they get rid of that? 8-2 versus 9-0. Will we finally see the Chiefs fall? We'll get into that next. Stick around. Sunday Huddle presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Bet live with Hard Rock Bet. Real-time wagering till the very last play. Missing the kickoff doesn't mean all bets are off.
Delay a game on the guy who hasn't bet yet.
Sometimes you just know your team is going to come back. The sportsbook for every kind of player.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Get up to $100 back if your first bet doesn't win. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Palm Beach County's premier college football event is back. Don't miss the 2024 Boca Raton Bowl, Wednesday, December 18th from FAU Stadium and broadcast live on ESPN. Last year's game saw in-state Rising Power USF beat Syracuse out of the ACC. What will this year's game have in store? Big names, big teams, big action. The 2024 Boca Raton Bowl, December 18th at FAU Stadium on ESPN. Don't miss out. Find out more at BocaRatonBowl.com.
Does your business leave a lasting impression? Attractive, eye-catching signs help you stand out from the crowd and create a strong brand identity. Our team at Signorama West Palm are experts in helping your business get noticed and get effective signage in front of your potential customers. Our team can turn your blank windows or plain vehicles into money-making branding machines by drawing customers' attention to your business. So if you're looking to leave that lasting impression, call us 561-687-7993 or visit SignoramawPB.com.
Welcome to Hurricane Grill and Wings. Today's forecast, hot, crispy wings with a 100% chance of frothy beers. Escape the ordinary. Visit hurricanewings.com to find your nearest spot and enjoy a taste of summer all year round.
It's the Get Holiday Ready sales event with Hank and Sam from the Ford crew. Today, a new shipment of inventory.
Hank, what's going on?
Another hauler full of new Ford trucks and SUVs, Sam.
So much SUV capability. Is that?
Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 47 years. And a big selection means...
Big savings?
Yep, which means...
It's the best time to buy?
Well done, Sam. And time for America to get holiday ready with Ford.
Based on 1977 to 2023 CY Industry reported total sales.
Hey, it's Josh Cohen. When you need auto repair, honesty and reliability are everything. Trust the home for honest, reliable service since 1970. St. Lucie Battery and Tire. St. Lucie Battery and Tire has all the tire and battery brands in stock for cars, trucks, RVs, marine, power sports, golf carts, everything. Major and minor service repairs, free tire pressure, battery checks. St. Lucie Battery and Tire, over 50 years in our community. And now with 18 full-service locations, West Palm to the Treasure Coast. Go to slbt.com. That's slbt.com.
Thank you for listening to ESPN 1063. I love you. Thank you for listening to ESPN 1063. I love you. Thank you for listening to ESPN 1063. I love you.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
This Thanksgiving, don't let extra pounds steal your joy. At HexisMD.com, enjoy the feast without fear of calories sticking around. They offer semaglutide and trizepatide. No insurance needed. Picture yourself feeling lighter and more energized. Give yourself the gift of confidence and health this holiday season with HexisMD. Join thousands already transforming their lives. Visit HexisMD.com today. That's HEXISMD.com. Your partner in a healthier, happier you. Use discount code ESPN50 for 50% off your first order.
Near left, H2 chip, double drag, goes, halfback balloon, dummy spot call, hard 3.
This is Sunday Huddle with Colin Russo, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Sunday Huddle presented by Hard Rock Bet right here at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Colin Russo here. Joining alongside me is Cade Shumsland behind the glass. Packed Week 11 slate of NFL football. Ravens, Steelers, Packers, Bears. Lions are taking on Jacksonville. I'll sneak that in. Chiefs, Bills, of course. An interesting Sunday night game. Chargers, Bengals. We'll see if the Chargers can deal with probably a little bit more of a formidable opponent in that Bengal offense. See how they handle themselves there. Fantasy football. Big week. Now we're entering, near playoff time in a couple weeks? Last couple weeks of the regular season in fantasy football. So this is going to be, and a lot of ins and outs, who's in, who's out, who's healthy, who's not. It's going to be very tricky. Let's do a little fantasy football factory presented by Hexis MD. All right, so how Fantasy Football Factory works is Cade and I are going to give 3 players apiece, sort of in between players, good plays for this week, whether it be by matchup, whether it be by availability, whether it be by whatever criteria we deem fit. Cade, I want you to start this week. Who is your Fantasy Football Factory player of the week, number 1?
Let's start right here in South Florida. Miami hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. I have liked how Tua has been playing. I know he hasn't been necessarily putting up the stat lines, but a good win against the Rams on the road. Now he's back home. The air game seems to pick up when we're in the 305. I like Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle, I should say. I know Tyreek Hill is a little bit hurt. Jalen Waddle hasn't necessarily had a huge season, but he had the most yards last week that he has had since week 1. So I think Jalen Waddle from Miami, who's kind of been riding probably a lot of people's benches since Tua's been hurt, right. I think it's time to put him back in.
Okay. Here's an interesting one for those looking for a streaming tight end. Couple injuries this week. I know Sam Laporta is not playing for the Detroit Lions. Here's one that I think is interesting. Dalton Kincaid is not playing. How about his backup? Dawson Knox. Today against Kansas City for Buffalo. Dawson Knox has not only played well against Kansas City in the past, but Josh Allen is going to be utilizing those tight ends today. Outside defense for the Kansas City Chiefs has been really, really rock solid all year. They have an excellent defense with McDuffie there. This is going to be a problematic game moving the football with that great defense. Watch Dawson Knox do some damage today in the middle of the field in the intermediate game, moving the chains. It's going to be a little bit of a field position battle, feeling each other out, I think, with both those good defenses. Dawson Knox, tight end for Buffalo, if you're looking for a streaming tight end this week. Cade, what's your number 2?
Good old reliable Dawson Knox. I love that take. We already talked about Pittsburgh a little bit. You mentioned Mike Williams and George Pickens, but there's a third guy who's actually the third leading receiver for the Steelers that I think is about to have a breakout game. That is Calvin Austin III. Before Russell Wilson was the starter, the man was only getting targeted about 2.8 times per game. Since Wilson has taken over that starting job, Calvin Austin III has been targeted 4.6 times a game. Had a decent game last week, had a touchdown the week before, and I think Russell Wilson is liking this young star. I'm going to say wide receiver from Pittsburgh, Calvin Austin III, if you're looking for a waiver wire pickup.
Wow, okay. Calvin Austin III, that is a waiver wire pickup indeed. Here's another one I like. Now, I've been up and down on this guy because he hasn't really been that consistent, but he finally broke out in a big way last week. Jackson Smith-Njigba from Ohio State we know how great he was there. Was a guy that hasn't really gotten his feet wet with that offense in terms of consistency. Then, but against the Rams 2 weeks ago, 7 receptions, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. In a way, broke out in a big way that week. They got the San Francisco 49ers today. That is not an easy matchup. But where does he operate? He is that slot, inside out. They kind of place him all over the field. Watch him build off this type of win. He's gotten 7+ targets in each of the last 2 games he has played. 13 the week after that. I like Jackson Smith-Njigba to be playing today, whether he's in your lineup, out of your lineup, smaller league, bigger league. Keep an eye on Jackson Smith-Njigba for having a big-time game.
For sure, absolutely. Now, when I'm going to go over to Lambeau Field, or should I say this game is in Chicago, but let's talk about the Green Bay Packers, no less. Josh Jacobs, obviously, starting running back. But his backup, Emmanuel Wilson, seems to have 1 or 2 games that he just breaks out for a couple carries, 50 yards, and maybe a touchdown. I think today's going to be one of those games. In the 2 games that Emmanuel Wilson has had at least 50 yards rushing, it's been the 2 blowout games for the Packers where they've won by double digits. There's only been 2 games they've won by double digits. Emmanuel Wilson gets a ton of carries when that is the case. He also just got his first touchdown of the season last week against Detroit. I think they're going to be utilizing this guy. And again, if you have injury problems, you have a bunch of people on a bye. We got 4 teams on a bye this week. Emmanuel Wilson, back up for Green Bay late in this game, will get some touches.
My last guy, I love this guy. He's in my lineup, and I'm going to go with him again. Ricky Pearsall of the San Francisco 49ers had a 40-something yard touchdown last week. And
right out of the gate, you called him to go big, and it was right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate. They're going to continue to increase this guy's usage as the season goes along. Here's a first-round pick. So I know they got McCaffrey in there. I know there's so many guys in that offense. But Ricky Pearsall is going to be that, in-between guy that it doesn't have necessarily the ego of the other guys. It's an efficient passing game. It's an efficient running game. I think San Francisco is trending upward in terms of how they're playing, especially offensively. I could see them having a 38-point explosion today. He's going to have to be involved if they're scoring that many points. Ricky Pearsall, once again, that's my guy, Fantasy Football Factory. That's pretty good. I like our 3 picks. You went really down and deep to find some guys there.
When you're this deep into the season, you've got injury problems, you got buys, and you need wins. You can't just be riding slow. If you're trying to make those last few lineups of the playoffs.
With all these injuries, too, yeah.
Exactly.
A couple buys.
Yep.
That was Fantasy Football Factory presented by Hexis MD, your partner in easy and effective weight management methods. Visit HEXISMD.com. That's HexisMD.com. Chiefs Bills are today. And the Chiefs, of course, it seems like they're doing black magic to stay undefeated every week, just escaping game by game. And whether that be a testament more so to the Chiefs' experience, maybe that's a testament to the team they're playing, escaping in a lot of ways against the Buccaneers, the Broncos, a complete escape, some inexperienced teams. Now they run into the Bills on the road. The Bills are not an inexperienced team. They have been in these games. They have went toe-to-toe with the Chiefs, fallen short a couple of times, more than a couple. But this is not going to be your walk in the park where the team they're playing is going to beat themselves. They're not only are they motivated, they're at home, and they sort of know how to play the Chiefs. It's going to be a really intriguing game. What's your takeaway on this one?
We are doing this show on behalf of Hard Rock Bet. We are supposed to be giving great advice. I don't know how much of I would call
take it with a grain of
great.
salt.
Exactly.
See it.
I am running as far away as possible from this game because so many things could go either direction. The Bills, 8-2, finally catching a winning streak, looking like they have a dynamic offense. The Chiefs skating by every single game, had to block a field goal last week just to beat the Broncos to stay undefeated. This is screaming Buffalo Bills to me.
Really?
And then we talk about, hold on, and then we talk about theme, and then we talk about identity, and that is Chiefs winning football. So I have no idea if reality is going to show up and the Bills are actually going to play the way they've been showing us, or if I don't even know what to call. It's like it's not a dark cloud, it's like a light cloud for the Chiefs, who just seem to figure out how to win every week. The Bills have owned this team in the regular season. The Chiefs have owned the team in the postseason. Which one's going to show up today? I have to pick the Chiefs because they're winning football games, and I think somehow the Bills are just going to falter at home today. I don't know how, but it would kill me to pick against Patrick Mahomes.
And you're right. The Bills have played well against the Chiefs in the regular season and only the regular season. They haven't been able to get over that hump in the postseason. Of course, the Bills won last year in the regular season. They won the year before that in the regular season. And then won 2 years before that in the regular season. So the Bills have played well against them when it doesn't matter.
All those games at Arrowhead, too.
Yep. Now, the curious thing is, from my perspective, I know they have their wins in the regular season, but the Bills don't see it like that. Neither does anybody else. The people see it as the Chiefs have always had the Bills' number, and it's true, because they beat them in the biggest games. Now, the Chiefs, for some reason, haven't been the cleanest 9-0 team you've ever seen in your entire life, but they have an elite defense that travels, and they have the ultimate winner at quarterback. Now, the Bills, on the other hand, winners of 5 straight, playing as well as they can offensively, 30 straight in 4 games, they could score. So I think I'd lean Buffalo here because they play well in the regular season against them. They're at home. They're going to be motivated. And I think this Bills mojo train the Chiefs mojo train has got to run out eventually. And maybe I'm just, smoking into the wind. It's got to stop. It has to stop. The Bills have to, the Chiefs have to stop doing this. You can't escape every week. You're going to have to get shown up at one point or another. And that's okay. The Chiefs don't care. They're 9-0. This is going to be the day. The Bills are going to win today, I think. I think it'll be close, but 27-20, 27-24 would be my takeaway from this game.
It's completely fair. It's 100% fair. And honestly, that's what should happen. But there is this aura. That's the word I was looking for. There's this aura around the Chiefs.
They're
that
winners.
Somehow
ultimate winners.
Puts a W next to the scoreboard every single week.
Yeah, of course, the Chiefs 4-0, looking to be 5-0 on the road. The Bills 4-0 at home. Just the clash of the Titans here in Buffalo. Give me Buffalo in this one. But there's a spread in this. Bills are favored by 2 points. How about that? An undefeated team, a road underdog. We'll take those picks against the spread. We'll go through the whole thing on Hard Rock Bet. We got to blitz the book next. Go through each game against the spread. Set up our slate. Put together a parlay player prop and team win against the spread parlay. Stick around for that. It's Sunday Huddle presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 1063.
Good people. It's your boy Theo Dorsey, and let me tell you about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. Think Justin Jefferson will get more than 83.5 yards next week? How about Lamar Jackson? More than 1.5 touchdowns. Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code THEOD to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code THEOD and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen. If it's a slam dunk or a game-winning drive, it happens on ESPN 1063. It's an NFL and NBA kind of Sunday. First up, the Raiders and the Dolphins pregame at 11:30. Next, we head to the hardwood, the Heat and Pacers at 4:30.
Hurricane fans, the final game of the season is here. Join us on November 23rd at Hard Rock Stadium as the Hurricanes take on the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest. It's Senior Day, a day to honor the incredible players who have given their all to the U. Let's give them a send-off they'll never forget and fill the stadium with Hurricanes pride. Don't miss out. Get your tickets today by visiting MiamiHurricanes.com or by calling 1-800-GO-CANES.
What's up, y'all? It's Theo Dorsey, and the holiday season is here. You can give back the gift of golf at the park in West Palm Beach. For every $100 gift card you purchase, the park will donate $10 towards their Christmas For the Path program. If you're looking for the perfect gift for the golfer in your life, or even yourself, now is the time. Enjoy great golf while making the season brighter for kids who need it most. Swing by the park and let's tee up some holiday cheer together. The park is open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Hi, Kevin Dalton here from the Unlimited Auto Wash. Rainy season is upon us. What a great time to join our $44.95 Unlimited Inside and Out Club and use any of our 6 locations. Find a location near you at unlimitedAutoWashClub.com or call 561-WASH-ME-TOO.
F45 Training West Palm Beach offers functional group fitness classes reimagined. Sign up for F45 today and visit their West Palm Beach location. Featuring high-intensity group workouts that are fast, fun, and results-driven, F45 always has the right workout for you. Not to mention, it takes just 45 minutes. Visit F45training.com today to find a studio near you and officially join the F45 Training family. F45, team training, life-changing.
You've got so many chances to win big on Hard Rock Bet. Even a small bet can bring in that serious cash. All you need is $1 and a dream.
Unbelievable. They've hit the parlay.
Let's go!
Big payouts for every kind of player.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Get up to $100 back if your first bet doesn't win. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Philly 88, Dice right, 52 Orlando right HD.
This is Sunday Huddle with Colin Russo, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Sunday Huddle presented by Hard Rock Bet at ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo here. Joined alongside me is Cade Chumsman behind the glass. Packed slate today in the NFL side of things. Chiefs, Bills today in Buffalo at 4:25. That'll be on CBS. So the biggest game resides in Buffalo. Another big game, of course, resides in Pittsburgh. With the Ravens coming to town, a 7-3 Baltimore Ravens taking on a 7-2 Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot of playoff implications there. We'll see what happens in regard to that. But Cade and I got to make some picks against the spread now. Boy, oh boy. My favorite time of the week. But first, I got to tell you about Hard Rock Bet. Now that we're in the second half of the season, week 11 coming up on the Big Pack Sunday slate, you've seen enough to how each team is, how each team plays. It's time to get started on Hard Rock Bet. So many different ways to bet. There's so many different types of parlays. Even if you're not sure what to bet, you can see popular trending parlays built by other users that you could follow and build in just a few taps. In week 1, a Florida bettor went 16 for 16. Picked the winner of every single week 1 game correct in their parlay. Turned a $15 bet into over $105,000 in winnings. Did that in Hard Rock Bet. So can you. Cade saw something today on the Hard Rock Discover page that you were intrigued by. What was that, Cade?
You know, we've had a running back revitalization in the NFL this year. At least it seems like that. Let's talk some more running backs. We've got a 5-bet parlay right there on the popular bets. Scroll down a little bit on the homepage of Hard Rock Bet app. Go over to the right on the popular bets. You'll see a 5-bet parlay that's plus 1,397. I got a Kareem Hunt anytime touchdown, James Cook anytime, Bijan Robinson anytime, Christian McCaffrey anytime, and a Kenneth Walker III anytime TDs for all 5 of those running backs. Those matchups, I'm liking some big scoring games from those 3 games in total. So there you go, right there on the popular bets 5-bet parlay.
There's your popular bets right there. Go try Hard Rock Bet. Go download it on the App Store or the Google Play Store, or go to hardrock.bet online to go get started today. Try it now and get up to $100 back in bonus bets if that first bet does not win. That bet can be a parlay, it can be a prop, it can be the over, whatever you like. Any game you choose. You either win your first bet or get the same amount you bet back as a bonus bet. So offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. All right, let's have some fun. Now,
I thought that was my cue.
That I will take it. That's no problem with that. So, what we do on Blitz the Book is we're going to pick every game against the spread. Let's get to it. Blitz the Book, presented by Hard Rock Bet. All right, so how we work on Blitz the Book is Cade and I go against the spread every single game in this Sunday slate. We pick it, what team we like, what side we like, and then eventually we end it with a player prop team parlay. Let's start with this 1 o'clock slate of games. What a huge spread it will be in that Detroit Lions-Jacksonville game, a game with one team having pending change in their regime, according to Ian Rappaport of NFL Network. Cade, the Hard Rock Bet, what is that spread in that Detroit Lions-Jacksonville Jaguar game?
That Detroit Lion game is absolutely massive. We're looking at the Lions minus 13.5.
Wow. I'm taking the Lions here.
Yeah, me too. It's massive.
Not even hesitating.
Yeah.
And I'm a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, so I want Jacksonville to get beat down because I think this means a regime change. I said it last week. I'll say it again. I'll keep saying it until it happens. The owner's boat is in town. When the boat's in town, something's going down. Somebody's getting fired. They lose today in a big way. I think both the general manager, Trent Baalke, and the head coach, Doug Peterson, are out on Monday. Spare us, Detroit. They need a get-right game, too. Goff is not going to have 2 bad games in a row like this. They're back at home after a couple weeks on the road. Give me Detroit here, minus 13.5. Browns Saints, ugly one here. Cade, what's that line?
I'm a little surprised by this one. It's Browns minus 1.5. Now, a huge game from the Saints last week with a healthy Derek Carr. I know they're missing their top 2 wide receivers.
Coming off a bye. I'm on the road, though, yeah.
Yeah, I still like the Saints in this one, plus 1.5. I don't know what I'm missing.
I would take the Saints with plus 1.5 in this one as well. I think it's a matter of you don't know what type of Browns team you're going to get, what type of Jameis you're going to get, too. But I think the Saints here had a good win last week. They're at home again. I know the Browns are coming off the bye, but both these teams stink. Yeah, let's give me the Saints this one, getting 1.5. Packers Bears in this one. Cade, what's that line?
It is Packers minus 5.5, and I'm nailing it every day of the week and twice this Sunday.
100% agree. A road favorite by 5.5 points is a big spread to cover, but I don't think the Bears are going to be able to keep up with the Packers, especially coming off a bye. Jordan Love hopefully will be a little bit more healthy. They're going to run the ball all over them. And you got to see where those allegiances lie. You're going to see if they have any guts. And I don't know if the Bears, I don't know if they do. And call it a leadership problem, call it whatever you want, dysfunctional organization. Start a top-down, trickle-down effect. Bears are dead. They're dead. Tough start to the schedule here. I know it's a divisional game. I know it's at home. I don't see them covering this one. Packers minus 5.5 in this one. We're both taking that one. Vikings are at the Titans today. What's that spread?
Vikings at Titans is -6 for the Vikings.
-6.
And I think that's going to be pretty easy to take a touchdown. You could see this as like a 27-20 type of game.
Yeah, is Minnesota going to get right a little bit? They've been leaking a little bit, and especially offensively.
Yeah, I was about to say offensively, yes. Defensively, they've been rock solid. So I think this is the get right game for their offense in particular.
I'm going to go to Titans in this one to keep it relatively close, but I think Minnesota's going to win by that 3 to 4 range. Once again, 24-20, sort of an escape game. On the road like this is not going to be an easy game for them to play. Vikings will move to 8-2 regardless. I don't think they'll complain about that. The Raiders are going on the road to play the Dolphins. Of course, the Dolphins trending upward a little bit after a Monday Night Football win against the Los Angeles Rams. What's the spread in this one?
We got -7.5 for the Dolphins.
It's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points, but Dolphins, one of the best home field advantages. I know it's not necessarily the summertime anymore, so the sun isn't as big of a deal.
They played well, without a doubt.
Tua plays different at Hard Rock Stadium. I think the Dolphins cover this one. I'm gonna nail that 7.5.
I'm going to ride with that as well. I think the Dolphins are sort of sniffing blood a little bit at getting to that bottom of the pack wild card spot. There's still a path. They just got to keep winning their games, and they have an easy second half of the schedule. Starts today, Miami -7.5. I'm going to ride you with that one. I'm going to take that one with you. Rams at Patriots. Rams going across the country. Rams had a brutal loss. I had that over on the season total and the win totals. 9.5. Or 9 flat, excuse me. And if they won last week against the Dolphins, 5-4 would have been in good shape. Now 4-5. You don't even know what type of Rams team they're going to show up week by week. But what's the spread here in this one?
It's -4 for the Ravens. Or for the Rams, I'm sorry.
I'm going to take the Rams in that one.
Yeah.
Get right game.
There's something fishy in the air when it's only -4, and I think that might be because of that loss.
Going across the country, too. Short week.
But I think the safe bet is that -4.
Yeah, you got to assume that the Rams they're still trying to keep their head above water in a playoff hunt, while the Patriots are not. Colts are taking on the Jets. The Colts, of course, going back with Anthony Richardson as starting quarterback. Shane Steichen announced over the week. No more Flacco. After a 2-week hiatus, in comes Anthony Richardson again. The Jets of 3-7 had a terrible loss last week to Arizona. Colts, of course, terrible last week against the Bills for the most part. Anthony Richardson's back in action here. What's the spread?
It's -4 for the Jets, and it's basically picking the less of two evils, right? None of these teams have looked any good over the past few weeks.
I'm taking the Colts in this one.
I'll take the Jets.
You like the Jets in this one?
I trust Anthony Richardson less than I do Aaron Rodgers.
That's fair. Totally fair. Totally fair. But for some reason, I think that this Anthony Richardson thing is going to benefit him. I thought it was the right move benching him number 1. And I'm okay with him bringing him back same season like this. A little bit of a revamp, a little bit of a reset. Gets to see the game from a different side. Maybe it slows down for him just a little bit. Colts +4 here. I'll take that with the points.
We could also see a huge rushing game. Jonathan Taylor playing a lot better than Breece Hall this year.
Absolutely. Ravens-Steelers in this one. We've talked about who we think is going to win this one, but what's the spread here?
It's gone up to -3 for the Ravens. It was sitting at 2.5 for a long time. It's currently at -3 for the Ravens.
Wow. See, I think this is going to be a push, but for the sake of a good game, I'm going to take Baltimore.
I'm going to take Steelers.
Wow. Other side here. I don't love the -3. I think this screams a push to me. I think this screams a field goal end of the game to win it. But Justin Tucker's somebody else who has the yips right now. Guy can't hit a field goal. Unbelievable. I have him on my fantasy team, so you can't tell. But all right, so we're on either side of this Ravens-Steeler game in Pittsburgh today. I think Baltimore's going to win this one. You think the Steelers are going to win this one. Let's shift to Mile High. Falcons going on the road, taking on the Broncos. Broncos losers of 2 straight against the Ravens and the Chiefs, both on the road. Should have won last week. Falcons at 6-4. Sort of in a steady spot in that division, but you don't really know what Falcon team shows up week by week. They could run the ball. Broncos got a great defense. What's the spread here?
It's -2 for the Broncos, and I'm actually going to take it. I think the Broncos showed a lot last week at Arrowhead, and I think they play the NFC South very well with a big win against Tampa Bay earlier this year. Atlanta, not looking so great right now. Yeah, I'm going to take Denver.
It pains me to say it. I sort of agree. I think that Denver's going to win this one. They need to get back on pace a little bit. You cannot lose 3 straight and go on a skid like that. They lost to 2 very, very good teams who are at the top of the conference, so I can't necessarily fault them for that, especially on the road. But this might be a little bit of a hangover week, number one. Played their best ball against the Chiefs last week, and they sort of fell flat. So you don't know what type of Bronco team, how motivated they're going to be coming into this, but they're back home. Falcons are beatable. They can run the ball. I'll go with you with Denver on this, but I'm a little hesitant. I can see them coming a little flat after giving it their all last week. Shifting to Santa Clara, 49ers playing host to the Seattle Seahawks here. Niners at 5-4, Seahawks at 4-5. A 4:05 kicker for that one on Fox. What's the spread here?
It's San Francisco -6, and you alluded to it earlier. San Francisco getting more healthy. Christian McCaffrey is back. They're at home this time. Huge Thursday night win at Seattle last time where they won by, I believe, 12 points. Yep. I think 6 points shouldn't be a problem for the 49ers today.
I think this is going to be an offensive explosion. So if Seattle has any interest in keeping up with them with that spread, I think they would have to score a whole lot of points, and I don't think that's going to happen. Hard to beat a team twice, but the Niners sort of need the win, and they've been good out of the byes for a number of weeks. So I like this. Healthier. They need an offensive game where everything's clicking. I think you'll see it today in Santa Clara. Chiefs Bills. Buffalo's favored in this one?
-2.
I think the Bills are going to do this one, yeah.
They should, but I think I picked, so last year's
Bills
playoffs, or
-2,
this year's playoffs, I chose the Bills to beat the Chiefs. I chose the Ravens to beat the Chiefs, and I lost both times. Now, I know it's just the regular season, but I can't, in good conscience, do it again. I don't care if I lose money. I'm going to kick myself if I don't pick the Chiefs and they win, so I have to take the Chiefs +2.
I'll take Bills -2. I think that Chiefs black magic runs out a little bit today. Bengals at Chargers. Here's a very intriguing game. Bengals at Chargers sitting at 4-6 off a long week. Chargers at 6-3 have 5 wins against teams that have 7 losses. They haven't necessarily beaten the great teams, but a defense is very, very stout, and they're at home. What's the line in this one?
The line is the Bengals +1.5. It's favoring the Chargers right now by 1.5, and I actually like the Bengals in this one.
I do too.
The Chargers love to muddy things up, but the Bengals are playing the best offensive football they've been playing all year, and I think they can take advantage. Not a real home field advantage at SoFi Stadium, so I think in prime time, I'm going to take Burrow over Herbert.
I agree with that. I that's my favorite pick of the day. Probably is that Bengal pick. So I'm gonna ride that pick as well. +1.5. That is
+1.5.
I like that. All right, Cade. What's your player prop team parlay to finish out the show?
Well, you just said it's your favorite pick, but I'm gonna take them first. I still like the Bengals over the Chargers +1.5, and I'm gonna pair that. We have always gone, or we have been going a lot of over this year. I'm going to take an under. I'm going to say Will Levis under 186.5 passing yards. He's only done it twice this year, and they were earlier in the year. And this Vikings defense is something solid for Brian Flores. So I'm going to take the Will Levis under 186.5 and pair that with Cincinnati +1.5 against the Chargers. That comes out at +257.
I was going to take that one, so I'll change it up. Detroit -13.5. Give me that one. Get rid of Doug Peterson. Get rid of Trent Baalke. I need a regime change in Jacksonville. Detroit, we're looking at you. I can't believe I'm rooting for my team to lose like this. That's how it has to go for the greater good. Sometimes addition by subtraction. Give me the Detroit Lions -13.5. Parlay that with George Pickens over receiving 66.5 receiving yards against the Ravens. We alluded to it earlier in the show. Terrible, terrible pass defense. I know it's coming off a long week here, but, Russell Wilson's going to have to throw it to somebody. And Pickens has been his favorite guy coming off a game against the Commanders where he had 5 receptions for 91 yards and a touchdown. He's going to make an acrobatic catch or two here and there. I know they got Mike Williams now, so they're going to spread the wealth a little bit, but they're not going to be able to run the ball that well. You're going to have to pass the ball against the Ravens if you want to win. Give me George Pickens, parlayed, over on the receiving yard, 66.5. Parlayed with the Detroit Lions -13.5 against Jacksonville today. That's my parlay. That was this week's edition, the Week 11 version of Sunday Huddle, presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, big thanks to Cade Chumson behind the glass, sending you guys off into a football Sunday packed slate. Have a lot to talk about listening to Russo and Rizzo, and theoretically speaking, Tomorrow, local programming on ESPN 106.3 from 2 to 6, 2 to 4, theoretically speaking. 4 to 6, Russo and Rizzo. Sending you off into Sunday. Have a great Sunday. It's been Colin Russo and Sunday Huddle.
The preceding program was paid for in full by Hard Rock Bet. Advice and opinions expressed during this program were